Opposition to discrimination in all walks of life. What's a game in prospect? Jack Smith, the referee for this one. And a vital game as well for England with limited preparation. This warm-up game, Barry, the game against Fiji to come shortly before the World Cup kicks off. Shaun Wane, who hasn't had an awful lot, this is only his third game since he took over in February 2020. He has got to try and learn an awful lot from this.
And Shaun Wane's been really clear about what he wants from his team, what he wants from the individuals within it. Speaks on a regular basis to players and coaches and has that regular dialogue with them. But international rugby league, you don't get a big build-up. You've got to grab those opportunities with both hands and prove you can fit in to any system. This is a big game and a fascinating game in prospect.
Yes, the All-Stars in all red, in possession at the start of the game, and it is a very varied All-Stars side. You've got representatives from Fiji, the Cook Islands, Samoa, PNG, Tonga, New Zealand, Australia, England and Eswatini, which is what Swaziland is now called, which is where Cruz Leeming was born. So great representation.
Yeah, they're from all over the place, Bill, aren't they? But what they've got is something in common. I think they want to attack. I imagine to see this All-Stars team play, you know, a bit of rain coming down here, but I'm expecting an expansive style from them here this afternoon.
Sam Tompkins, the England captain, gets his first touch of the game. And if there is one thing that Shaun Wane knows about Ellery Hanley, who was alongside him when they won the inaugural World Club Challenge with Wigan in 1987, it is that Hanley takes no challenge lightly. On the rugby league pitch, on the squash court, wherever it is, he is a winner.
Ellery Hanley looks immaculate. I'm not going to curse myself and tell everybody how old he is, but he looks immaculate. And Ellery Hanley was my Great Britain coach for my debut, and he instilled a confidence in me that I drew upon in the rest of my career. Carl Hall at the side of him, on his left, our right, but I was smiling when Ellery Hanley was speaking. He's still got that competitive edge. He's competitive as an individual, and he's trying to instill that into his team and players now.
And I think he's got a relatively easy job here, hasn't he? Probably low expectation. He's just got to get his side going. The challenges for Shaun Wane, for me, Barry, such limited contact with his players. The balance of giving them too much and just letting them just go and play as they are for the club is a really tricky one for him to manage. And I'm sure he'll have deloaded the players with information this week and just kept it simple.
There's Ken Seo in possession for the All-Stars, who got 2 tries in this fixture against England last year. Of course, they will know all about the threat he brings from his Super League exploits. That's the 5th tackle. And it's the boot of Brodie Croft, Salford's major signing for this season, who has stood up well so far. Tompkins underneath the challenge from Kalepi Tanganoa.
One of the things Shaun Wane mentioned before the game was this aspect of the game, coming from your try line, this backfield work done by the likes of Tompkins, Makinson, Ryan Hall previously. There's an offload there. They've got to get out of their own end, particularly against teams like Samoa. 17 weeks' time, they're going to meet them. They're going to try and match that kicking game and bring the best kicking game. And with run threats like this man, Jack Wellsby, and they're going to throw something different at them.
Well, here is George Williams now. Williams hoping for better fortune on this pitch than he has had in Warrington colours. Of course, the Warrington Wolves having a pretty dire season. Williams will be hoping this will be a relief from that, as that kick is claimed by Peter Matautia, another on his home ground, full back here today.
Yeah, it's a nice set from England, wasn't it? Just a couple of really measured offloads. It just got them some field position, got them down the right end of the field, and you've got to get out of your half any way you can. It can be through just pure brute strength of carry, or through subtlety of ball movement. Some nice offloads there from Tommy Makinson and Jack Wells, but just to get England to the right part of the field.
Here is Darryl Clark, has 9 England caps to his name, but in the Combined Nations All-Stars this evening, there he is. And likewise, Cruz Leeming, not in the England squad. How much of an incentive is that to them? Hang on a minute, because here's Sean Kenny Dowell. Eventually brought down, but Wellsby clinging on to an ankle on the last. And it's Jacob Miller who launches the kick downfield. Tompkins is underneath it, but Leeming and Darryl Clark must be so keen to prove a point.
And they were against each other last year in this fixture. I went back and watched that game, and England were in control large parts of the game. At the back end, when it was a bit of freestyle, it was a bit of off-the-cuff stuff, it was where players like Cruz-Leeman came into their own. It was a great game. Unfortunate for England, it wasn't the right ending, and Shaun Wane's made it really obvious, really apparent. He wants a win and a good performance.
Pryor greeting Alex Walmsley there. Walmsley managed to ride the challenge. Bit of a scruffy play the ball, and then Tompkins with a deep kick, turning Matautia around. It's an excellent kick. Matautia hoping it's going to get there. It's not. And then when he turns, the chasers are there.
A great chase, wasn't it? It was a perfect kick. And Peter Matautia, who hasn't played a lot recently as a fullback, has all the skills to deal with it. Get down low, and England give a penalty away for being offside.
There's just a balance to be had, aren't there? In aggression, in intent, in getting off your line and making something happen, and just getting that wrong. England in the right part of the field, crucially. Look, against Samoa, against Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, whoever they play in the World Cup, they can't do that. Some great defence from Matt Pryor on Alex Walmsley. But England just had the combined All-Stars in the right spot, and just a pressure-relieving penalty there.
Here is Kenny Edwards now. Played for the Combined Nations last year and had a big game on that occasion, did Edwards. Miller. Misao now. Just inside their own half are the Combined Nations, and Darrell Clark finds Jacob Miller just slipping on this immaculate pitch. Still looking immaculate pitch after the previous game.
What player was that, Marcus?
Here is the Combined Nations captain, Sean Kenny-Dowell, 34 years of age, staying at Hull Kingston Rovers. Brodie Croft, lovely step from Croft. Great work from Brodie Croft, looking for some support, manages to find it. 6 to go, says the referee. There was an England touch in there. Croft's break, almost taking him all the way. Lingy Sao now, using his strength, he's just held up just short of the try line. Darrell Clark. Clark looking to poach one, but Farrell and Bateman there to stop his progress.
He almost snaked that arm out, Clark.
Sao manages to get the ball away. It's picked up by Matt Pryor. Pryor wrestling his way forward, and then equally wrestled back by Tompkins and Farrell. Set restart signal by Jack Smith. Pryor struggling to get to his feet with Tompkins very much in his face.
No, you've got the 6 again, now play
the referee just having a word.
Go. Next is 1.
And here is Brodie Croft now. Jacob Miller. Oh, he's good strength from Zane Tetivano.
I thought Michael McAlorum had took a knock then. Coming up to almost 60 tackles in 7.5 minutes.
10-metre line. Miller. Pryor, but Matt Pryor runs into the tackle of Michael McAlorum. Back in the England setup. Here's Brodie Croft coming back on the inside. Is Mahe Fanua, and Fanua takes some stopping, as these England players will know only so well from coming up against him in the colours of Hull and now the Castleford Tigers. And here's Miller. Miller spins it on. Sean Kenny-Dowell manages to get the pass away to Ken Seo. Seo cutting back in field. Welsby makes the tackle. Can England withstand this pressure? It's Miller now, taking it to the line. Lovely ball, finds Brodie Croft, and Croft again.
Great work.
Just close to the line, he's lost the ball.
Outstanding defence from England under all kinds of pressure. Done twice as many tackles in the opening 8 minutes as the Combined Nations, but what they've done, and it's a hallmark of every Shaun Wane side, defend with steel and grit.
Hey, you love to see that, though, for the Combined Nations All-Stars. The two halfbacks combining. Brodie Croft pushing aggressively with Jacob Miller. Look, Shaun Wane will be looking for more of that from his halfbacks. Obviously, Jack Welsby on debut. Ellery Hanley will be really encouraged about his halfbacks and how they combine. But you're right, Barry, the trademark of Shaun Wane's teams, they're just difficult to beat. They come up with big tackles in big moments.
There was a worrying gap of probably 2 or 3 sets of 6 that led to that field position for the All-Stars. He'll have a look at that, I'm sure, when he gets a chance, try and fix it up, but no time now.
Brodie Croft yet to score a try in Super League since his move from the Brisbane Broncos. The penalty.
Oh, they needed that, didn't
Is
they, England?
against the Combined Nation All-Stars for offside, and that's a relief for England.
A big deep breath. You can see a couple of players on this side closest to us weren't back on side.
Yeah, Danica mentioned cohesion and getting sort of plans together and building a bit of a bond. Well, this is the most visible side of it. You get a chance to attack, you get some fluency. Offload again from England, but let's see what shape they can throw here.
It's good work from Mike Cooper to get that offload away. And now it's Alex Walmsley. McAlorum, here is Williams. Sam Tompkins, on it comes to Welsby. Welsby brings Callum Watkins back on the inside. He was a member of the England 2017 World Cup side, starred in the final.
It's an ankle tap away from winning it, wasn't it?
It was Williams to Jake Wardle, making his England debut, the 23-year-old. And he is stopped by Rhys Martin's tackle. Williams onto Farrell. Tompkins, here it comes to Welsby. Welsby puts a little kick in, it ricochets back into his hands. England getting a lucky break there. The tackle count continues. Here is Alex Walmsley. Strong defence from the All-Stars there. Tetivano and Lingy Sao doing the tackling. Williams, short ball. Here comes Wardle, and Wardle gets the first try of the game on his England debut. 23-year-old Jake Wardle, who's only made 6 Giants appearances this year because of injury, but one for the future, no doubt. And he gets his first try in England colours.
A bit of class there from England. Everybody running into the right holes. George Williams and combining with Sam Tompkins, targeting the 3 and 4 in defenders, and you can see Brodie Croft. He's just got too many decisions to make. And then Rhys Martin, who plies his trade as a back rower, bites in, and there's the overlap. And a nice line. Perfect start to your England career from Jake Wardle.
Sean Wayne in that murky coach's box on the opposite side of the ground, on his feet, as his side, having endured a little bit of pressure early on and seen Brodie Croft go close, they've hit back well, but probably check it back to that penalty that All-Stars conceded for offside, gave England a bit of momentum.
Yeah, discipline's huge, isn't it? And look, Jake Wardle, for people who haven't seen a lot of him play, he's just got that subtle strength. He doesn't look like a big ball carrier, but really strong core strength, finds space, finds gaps, and a real balanced running style. That's why he's in the England side. A great start for him. Just really cool piece of execution from McAlorum, from Williams and Tompkins.
And Sam Tompkins, the England captain, his 31st England cap this evening, and destined to lead England into the World Cup later this year. It's easy to forget he actually broke his leg earlier this season. Hardly skipped a beat as Sam Tompkins. And he's on target with his first kick at goal. And I was saying that the World Cup looming, kicking off in the northeast, and representatives from the northeast here this evening. Those boys and girls in the green caps are from Hexham in Northumberland, a wonderful place, a wonderful county. They're from Hexham Middle School, and they're big into rugby league, and well done to them for being here today. And in fact, the under-12s and under-13s from Hexham Middle School reached the semi-finals of the National Schools competition, and I'm sure they will be among the crowd at St James's Park when the World Cup gets underway in October. That game against Samoa, just getting a bit of a buzz about it now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action this weekend. Wales playing, France playing. There's New Zealand against Tonga.
Yeah, next week looks mouth-watering, doesn't it? We'll get to see all those Southern Hemisphere teams, apart from Australia, of course. But John Dutton and his Rugby League World Cup team are doing a remarkable job. Lots of stuff going
missed
around.
international rugby, haven't we? Missed it. You know, seeing guys pull on England shirts. We were speaking before the game. Alex Walmsley, Tommy Makerson, just 6 caps. Feels like they've been around forever in the England set. Just 6 caps. We need more games. This England team needs to play more. Obviously very tight before the World Cup. Only one more game before that starts. But more international rugby players.
Tompkins has shanked that one.
Off the side of his boot there, Tompkins. There's a bit of a scruffy play of the ball. Those kickers, having taken care of that responsibility myself, when you're on that last tackle, you need to get that right, give him a good quick play of the ball, give him time and space, and he just gets that all wrong, Sam Tompkins.
I thought you were suggesting your job was to kick the ball. I'm glad that you qualified that.
No. My part that I played in most tries was I played the ball.
Oh, well done.
Ken Seo playing the ball for the All-Stars. Looking to hit back then after conceding that try. Brodie Croft. Kalepi Tanganoa.
We're good. Tackle 3.
There's Croft once more, and then Lingy Sao. Just the one cap for Samoa for Lingy Sao. That was back in 2018 against Tonga. Here is Jacob Miller. Kenny Edwards. Never managed international status, Kenny Edwards. Came very close to a Kiwi call-up. Sean Kenny Dowell, he certainly did. 21 Kiwi caps. That kick is high, is claimed by Rhys Martin, and England have got to be alert. They were. Did well to deal with that situation.
Yeah, sorry, Bill. More good work near their own goal line. Callum Watkins put pressure on the kicker, and then they were able to collect that ball. They're showing good composure here, 15 minutes, and although they haven't been perfect, they haven't looked rattled. Defence is good, and that's the aspect of the game that would please Sean Wayne, and they've just got to piggyback down the field.
Yeah, he's hot on that, isn't he? Referee Jack Smith, that's 3rd or 4th penalty for offside. It's not something usually seen in international games, actually. The penalty count's usually quite low. Combined Nations All-Stars just conceded a couple here, and England will just be looking. Look, the spine of their team will be communicating now. Williams, Tompkins, McLaurin will be forcing players like Liam Farrell, who's got the ball here, to get to a point of the field to try and break this team down.
Is Liam Farrell having an outstanding season for the Wigan Warriors. Alex Walmsley likewise for St Helens, improving. Really tough to handle.
There's a big siren goes off when Alex Walmsley gets that ball. They're really looking to keep his influence on this game to a minimum.
Bateman, McLaurin, and Cooper couldn't take the pass. Mike Cooper in the news.
And likewise with Mike Cooper as well. Whenever he gets the ball, everybody with a big number, all the forwards are looking to put pressure on the front rows for England.
Yeah, this would be a nice moment for the Warrington players, won't it? They've had a tough year so far, so this is a break for them, almost a depressurised situation where they can come and be positive. Okay, Mike Cooper came up with the error there, but you can't help feeling that Darryl Clark, Mike Cooper will come into this game with just a bit might renew their energy in Super League as well. They've got to use this as really a point to kickstart the rest of the season for them.
Right, let's get some news about one of the Combined Nations All-Stars players from Jenna.
Yeah, it's their loose forward, Matt Pryor. He's just come off. I've been told by the doctors that it's a chest issue. He's gone straight down the tunnel and is currently receiving treatment.
Hold, go 3.
Thanks, Jenna. So, looks like Joe Lovadua is out there. The Fijian international has been such a hit LFC this season.
They don't lose much with him on the field. He can cover a number of different positions. Been one of the buys of the season, hasn't he, Lovadua? 6, 7, 9, 13.
5th tackle as Kenny Edwards plays the ball, and Miller hoists that one high. Makinson comes to shield. Nobody claims the ball. It went forward off an All-Stars player.
I think it's Sean Connie Dowell, Jacob Miller. He just collides with the advertising board, doesn't it? But it was a high kick, a contest in the air, and does he get there first? SKD, and the knock-on occurs.
Little nudge from Sam Tompkins, wasn't it? Cheeky little nudge, getting to the advertised hoardings.
Wait, go. Kenny Edwards.
Well, here is Tommy Makinson now, winning his 7th England cap.
Yeah, like John said, we spoke about that before the game. He's had 6 games, he's a Golden Boot winner, and seems to have had an influence over the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years.
Was appointed in February 2020, and then the whole thing stopped, didn't it? 2 years worth of competition.
It would be agony for Sean Wayne, that, wouldn't it? A hands-on coach.
And nothing happening.
Nothing happening. Zoom calls with your players. I can imagine he would have hated it.
Well, here is Williams now, and Bateman. Talapi Tanganoa just getting a hold. Bateman, McIlaurin picks that one up off his toes. Williams, Wellesby, Tompkins fires the pass to Callum Watkins. Watkins flick out the back of the hand, but Makinson had run out of space.
It was looking promising, wasn't it, for England? Again, we see Williams, Wellesby and Tompkins combining, but just lovely, steady defence from Sean Kenny-Dowell. Such an experienced defender. I've not seen Callum Watkins in this position, in this space in Super League this year. Sean Kenny-Dowell's been defending there all year. Great piece of defensive play from, I think, somebody who's been incredible for Hull KR. Really carried them, him and Ryan Hall, such a threat for Hull KR. And actually love how proud he was to be captain for this side here today.
He won his first Kiwi cap, did Sean Kenny-Dowell 15 years ago in Paris against the French. Here is Peter Montautier, played in the 2017 World Cup for Samoa.
Peter, just stay on the mark.
I think it's a good move, giving Montautier the full-back role. He doesn't get involved enough when he's in the centres for me. Great runner of the ball, and obviously he can find a pass. Played at 6 during his time as a Castleford player.
It's a bit like Jack Wellesby, isn't it? When you've got a player like that, get him on the ball. For Peter Montautier, get him on the ball. For Lovadua, get him on the ball. Remains a challenge for Warrington, finding opportunities for Montautier to touch the ball. We'll see a lot of him here tonight at full-back.
Jacob Miller hoists that kick high. Batted back, it's claimed by Reece Martin, who puts a little kick ahead. It's going to sit up, and Makinson had no alternative. There were red-shirted All-Stars players lurking around.
It's a great kick, isn't it? When they get the ball back here, the All-Stars, in his Leeds Rhinos role, kicks the ball off the tee and got a pretty accurate boot. Ellery Hanley and his coaching staff are delighted with that. Repeat possession. And England under more pressure near their own goal line.
Yeah, they wanted a test, didn't they, Barry? And defence has really been tested here. They've had to come up with some big defensive plays, show that cohesion with how they defend. And sometimes that's the biggest thing in international games, your willingness to scramble, your desperation to stop another team from scoring. It's what we see in State of Origin, isn't it? That desperation in defence. And that's certainly what Sean Wayne will be looking for from his players. Whether you're on debut, whether you've capped 30 times, you're looking for a desperation to restrict the other side scoring points. And they'll be pleased with how they've started in that regard.
Good tackle. Jack Wellesby
was the error from Kenny Edwards.
Great tackle. Playing at half-back, oh, he's staggering a little bit. Ducked his head down and hit and targeted around the ball. Hit Kenny Edwards with everything he'd got. England have made a rotation. Matty Lee's on the field for England. Big moment for him in his debut.
It's a good tackle. It was a big tackle, wasn't it? That's what you get from Jack Wellesby. He competes in every single situation he's in. There's not one area where he's deficient and he doesn't compete hard.
Here's Williams, Tompkins, and that was a good tackle on Tompkins, and it was Reece Martin putting the hit on him, forcing the error.
It's nice. Brodie Croft did a great job. He just backed off. He came out the line, threatened to jam. He didn't. He sat back, and that gave Reece Martin a good look at Sam Tompkins. Smart player is Reece Martin, defending in centre, and just a good aggressive action on Sam Tompkins there. It's always a great way to deal with Sam.
More news on the sidelines from Jenna.
Yeah, it's Matt Pryor. I've had confirmation that it's actually a rib injury. However, it's nothing serious, and he can return, I've been told, if they need him.
35 years of age now, Matt Pryor, but still running hard for the Leeds Rhinos. And here's Kenny Edwards up to the halfway line.
Hold, go to.
Brodie Croft, short pass from him. Novadua's on the end of it.
Go. Good work, mate.
Croft once more. Really busy early on in this game, Brodie Croft.
4. No. 5. Hold, Liam. Liam Farrell, you're off. Liam.
Croft
He's not got back.
forced into a bit of a hurried pass there. Miller keeps it going. Sean Kenny-Dow. Good pressure from Tommy Makinson.
Keep coming back. You're good now.
Matautier, here is Kenny Edwards, shapes to kick, eventually does kick, it's a good one. Sean Kenny-Dow just runs straight past the ball.
These All-Stars have a freedom to play that England players cannot do. It ends up with Kenny Edwards on the last tackle. We know what a skillful player and what a box of tricks he's got. And with a bobbling ball, Callum Watkins is just good enough to get hold of it.
You felt like Kenny Edwards just had an opportunity to hack it forward.
Kicks it with his left foot.
Sean Kenny-Dow now. You think kick it again, but no. Nice piece of scramble there from
It's
Callum
the
Watkins.
most dangerous team to play, isn't it? A team that's got nothing to lose. These All-Stars, they're almost offended that this is an England international in England and they have been invited just to play second fiddle.
Yeah. Well, they won last year, 26-24,
Yeah, absolutely.
Tim Sheens was at the helm then.
Go 2. Play on.
Yeah, there's loads of reasons for these players to be good. You know, beyond it not being a test match for them as such, there's no caps on offer for them. But there's a huge history and heritage of our league over here, you know, taking Pacific Islands, people from numerous countries. It's a rich part of our culture and Super League, isn't it? So they'll be looking to represent past players, current players and players of the future well here today.
Well, the exiles and the other nationalities were a big part of the game in the immediate post-war years. Here is Williams, here's Tompkins, puts a kick in, it's knocked on by Reece Martin. Trying to hope that nobody had seen that.
It just snakes an arm out, doesn't it? He's had quite a bit to do, hasn't he, Reece Martin, as I said. Second row for his club, the Leeds Rhinos, but a really talented, really committed rugby league player. Papua New Guinea international. He'll be hoping to be involved at the end of the year.
I like that play. I like that play from England, though. It's a smart play. George Williams digging to the line, finds Sam Tompkins. The winger, Mahe Fanua, has to come up. It leaves some space behind. If you want to manipulate space for your kicks, it's a great way to do it.
Here's Matty Lees now. Making his debut, the Saints youngster, McAlorum. Charging run from Mikołaj Zalewski. Winning his third England cap. Here's Bateman, but stopped in his tracks by good defence from the All-Stars. It was Darryl Clark, in fact, down low. Here they come again. Williams. Short ball for Wardle, who's got one try to his name already. The only try of the game so far. 4 tackles gone as Williams finds Farrell.
Last 5 space, Liam, step back.
It's about 5 metres out. Here's Wellesby, fires the pass. Callum Watkins was trying to ship it on quickly, I think, to Makinson, was he?
Yeah, I just think if there's one area that Sean Wayne will be slightly critical of his team, it's just these little individual handling errors. We've seen, you know, Mike Cooper come up with one, Sam Tompkins come up with one, but under pressure. And again, Watkins there with an error, just under a bit of pressure. Sean Wayne will just be looking to tidy that up. It's an easy fix, isn't it? Players haven't played with each other before. You know, but you simply, if the ball's there, you've got to catch it.
2. Straight out, Jordan!
So the All-Stars just inside England territory. Darryl Clark flings the ball backwards and Peter Matautier is there.
3. Move Mikołaj!
Back in action, he was suspended for the last Warrington game. Peter Matautier against Wakefield. It came to an unhappy end for Wyatt. Darryl Clark, Brodie Croft, hemmed in by those England defenders and nowhere for him to go. Good work.
Hold, go, 4.
Joe Lavadua. Here is Chris Satai, smuggles that ball round the corner. A shake of the head from Barry McDermott. Outrageous.
It's a wonderful offload, but the defence has got to be better. Clamp that ball, you know he's going to get an offload away. Good take from Ryan Hall. And just to expand on the point that Wilco's making, the better international players take the simple option, because often when you're uncertain, if you've not forged and built those bonds, sounds, the simple option is the best one. Don't look for a cut-out pass, just pass it on to a player in a better position. And I think those two mistakes they've made, the better option was the simple one, which was the bloke next to them.
It's patience, isn't it? You know, for 10, 15 years you saw Cooper Cronk just lay off, hit his lead runners, just builds a tempo to the game. Maybe England could do a bit more of that. See
Bateman breaking through, support from Williams. Williams has got the pace, has he? Yes, he has. Just getting there. But what a break from John Bateman. And on his shoulder, he looked, and there, arriving in the nick of time, was George Williams, making his first England appearance since 2018. And winning his 11th England cap and getting the second try of the game and picking up a bang in the process.
Great speed from George Williams once he got the ball. We talked about simplicity, Barry. There's nothing more simple than that. Run under here with aggression and intent. And once he'd done that, Williams could just sense there was an opportunity and showed great speed. As you said, simple things, sometimes beautiful. That's a beautiful line from John Bateman. And even better support from George Williams. And just impressed with his pure speed. When he got the ball there, you felt like he was going to get trapped down. As soon as he got the ball in his hands, he just upped the pace. Certainly quicker than John Bateman. He was maybe slowing down just to give John Bateman a chance.
That's the John Bateman we know and love, and that's also the George Williams we know and love. That will do his confidence the world of good. Shaun Wane having to field a lot of questions about the selection of George Williams. He knows him inside out, having had him as a young lad, developed him into the international standard quality bloke he was, quality rugby league player. He's come back from Canberra, and his Warrington career hasn't quite fired up yet, but he's an awesome player.
Look, it's a great combination. What is it? So is it McIlroy to Bateman, Bateman to Williams? Well, that's got Shaun Wane's DNA all over it, hasn't it? It's, you know, all been coached.
Well, Williams and Bateman, the old Canberra connection as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Great piece of play. And Barry just nailed it. Simplicity is the way.
It would be good to see Williams playing with less stress, because I remember that when we were here for that Leeds game, the Warrington Leeds game, and he was so dejected.
But it is stressful, isn't it? He doesn't look stressed here when after John Bateman makes the break and find him. And this is what we expect to see from George Williams, isn't it? That willingness to support, to push, to create things. But when you're weighed down by the pressure of your club not doing so well, your mind's occupied by other things. You've probably got 10 things in your mind, whereas the only thing on George Williams' mind, despite his nose bleeding, is John Bateman making the break.
Yes. And he's a competitor, and he's a professional, and a diligent professional as that. He knows there's aspects of his game he's got to be better at, but sometimes you've just got to revert to type, and that's George Williams all over.
Games like this can get you in form, get you out of that environment. 6 again here. The discipline's been an issue for the Combined All-Stars here. They've just gifted England a few bits of possession, but coming out of your club environment and playing for your country, what a privilege. Just what a privilege, what a chance for George Williams to get some confidence.
Sam Tompkins with the successful conversion, making it 12-0. Half an hour gone. What a busy weekend we've got, and a wheelchair international to look forward to. England against France tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena. You can see that. We heard James Simpson talking about it earlier on, and what you can expect. It sounds absolutely mouth-watering. The level of collision and confrontation as Williams stabs a little kick in. It's a good one. Moore was chasing, looking for a second.
He just couldn't get enough downward pressure on it, could it? He was right to go for it. Matautia was desperate to let it go over the sideline, and a split second later he would have nudged it over that back line.
Yeah, great kick from George Williams, wasn't it? You know, look, it's funny, isn't it? You score a try, your confidence is up, and then you start seeing all the things that George Williams is renowned for amongst the players that do him well. Bringing the defensive line up, kicking the ball in behind with great touch, and Wardle nearly getting the ball down. Just good to see George Williams just producing those bits that you always analyse as a player. We know George Williams is going to kick the ball behind you when he's on form. It's good to see him do that here.
I think the subs and the rotation of those front rows have made a big difference. The moment Matty Lees came on the field, he started to impose his will on some of those bigger men in the middle, and then Mikolaj Alecki doing the same with and without ball.
He's good. three.
Clark.
That's fine. Defence is really.
Lavadu was in his way now. Sean Kenny Dowell.
Get all four.
Kencio was looking to cut back infield. Sean Kenny Dowell was brought down. Miller. Lavadua. He is wrapped up. Can't get the pass away. That's the 5th tackle.
He's knocked that ball on. And Bill, you looked at me and I was shaking my head when the offload was made from Chris Satai. Your fundamental responsibility when you're a 2nd or 3rd man in is to make sure that ball cannot get offloaded, and they did that job, and they did it really well on that occasion. And somewhere there's an offload. As he's getting up there, Lavadua just loses control of it.
Yeah, in the modern game, it's about, well, it's always been about speed, not just the modern game, but ruck control's hugely important. Ellery Hanley limited time with his team, but you can see Sean Wayne trying to get numbers into tackles. Simply the more numbers that you get into a tackle, just the slower that ruck is. Lavadua coming up with the error there, but Sean Wayne will just be encouraging his players to join tackles, be that 3rd man in, take them to the floor really slowly, because they're going to need to do that against some huge ball carriers for Samoa and the likes in the World Cup.
A note in the book from Sean Wayne ahead of half-time. Not far away now. Here is Oledzki, the only Leeds player in the England side. Now here's Mike McMeekin, another player who's recovered from a broken limb, broke his arm not so long ago for the Catalan Dragons. But back to form. He got his first try of the season last week, in actual fact, in Mike McMeekin. Another one looking to rekindle an England career. Was in the England side in the 2017 World Cup when he got 2 caps. He's having a fine season, must be in contention. Matautia, good chase. Wellsby is everywhere.
Wellsby and Sam Tompkins, as soon as that kick went up, you could see that the communication between everybody was spot on. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving in the background. Sam Tompkins in the middle of it.
Peter Matautia the other side.
Tackle 2 across. Brody, it's going to be you when we're ready.
It's a very strong arm's length discussion going on.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm very disappointed with myself, Bill. I was watching the ball. There was a scuffle going on and I missed it.
How dare you miss that?
You've changed my German.
You
Yeah, time off, mate.
You are the official scuffle spotter.
I know. I was watching. I was ball watching. There it is.
Nothing so far. 35 minutes. Just play the game in the
Something and nothing.
Yeah, Sam tried to pull Matautia over.
Yeah.
Matautia stayed on his feet, and then Matautia dragged Sam Tompkins back to his feet. So it's 2-0 Peter Matautia here so far.
It's 2 flyweights going at it. That's why I've missed it.
It's not the heavyweight. Not up to standard. Must do better.
I know.
35 minutes on the clock. England ahead by 12 points to 0. And that kick is almost out in the full, just.
3rd tackle kick. Cruz Leeming onto the field. Jamie Jones Buchanan, our studio guest, talked about his versatility. And John Wells, in the build-up to the game, talked about his probables, his possibles, his definites. Well, Cruz Leeming has to be in the conversation because of his utility value and the quality of his play. He's been probably Leeds Rhinos' best player all year.
He probably meant to kick that a lot further than he did as well, Barry.
Yeah.
That's probably worth saying. It came off the side of his boot, but look, he's been great in what the Leeds side has struggled at times this year.
Half-time approaching. Let's get the view from the sideline of one of the Combined Nations All-Stars assistant coaches, Andrew Henderson, who's down there. Hendo, what do you reckon of the performance so far from your guys?
Yeah, look, I thought we started with some really good energy and intent in our actions. We've probably just been a little bit guilty of gifting England some field position through penalties, and again, we've come up with a couple of errors too. So that's probably been the main concern. And just as the half was wore on, our ruck defence has just got, for me, a little bit untidy, and they've just allowed to get too many metres. So a couple of things for us to address at half-time, but certainly an encouraging start from us. I thought we had really good energy intent to start the half.
Andrew, thanks very much indeed. We'll leave it there because England are on the attack. Wellsby puts the kick in and Kencio comes sweeping round to gather the ball. McMeekin then making the tackle.
Yeah, England's short kicking game's been really nice. I've loved the subtlety, ball movement. Like I said, that just demands the wingers, Kencio and Mahefanu, to come up and join the line just in case they need to defend. If they keep playing, well, they haven't on a number of occasions. Smart kick from Wellsby, smart kick from Williams earlier.
Michael McElaurum in there making the tackle. Boundless enthusiasm from the 34-year-old, making his first England appearance since the 2013 World Cup is McElaurum. He made his original England debut in 2011 against the Exiles at Leeds. An Irish international as well. And here's another one making an international comeback. Ryan Hall, his last England appearance 4 years ago. But a real England stalwart in those days. 35 tries in 42 England appearances.
He has been and still is some player. He deserves to be in this side.
Yeah, he does.
His performances for Hull KR have been outstanding each and every week. Obviously scoring plenty of tries, but the work he does, the meters he makes, the quick play of the balls he gets for his teammates, that's why he's in.
But some will say, is this the future? You've got...
It's the future for the end of the year, Bill, and that's all Sean Wayne's bothered about.
That's all the international game should be about. All this tinkering and toying and giving people chances. Your international team, I believe, should be your best team. You should try and win every single game, every time you play for your country.
Look at how many 30-odd-year-olds are in this side here, and that's because I think Sean Wayne has looked at it and gone, experience, quality, experience. He looks at all the individuals in this team and thinks, all I've got to do is create some unity, create some bonds, and allow them to express themselves.
Here's a player who likes to express himself, David Fafita.
He's tough. He's a tough player to tackle, Bill. My gosh.
So's this guy, Kalepi Tangana, a much sought after through Super League after his exploits with Wakefield. Brodie Croft. Jacob Miller skips away from the first challengers. Wellesby it was, came hurtling in to make the tackle. Brodie Croft. Edwards manages to get the ball away to Sean Kenny Dowell, who manages to get the kick in, but it was all just managed. And Tompkins picks it up for England.
He's putting himself about, isn't he? The number 6 for England, Jack Wellesby. He's had a rare old duel with Kenny Edwards. I think just to let Kenny Edwards know you're not going to be running at me all day, but he came up and shut down his opposite number, Jacob Miller.
But then you've got to factor in the NRL contingent, haven't you? You know, Elliot Whitehead, Ryan Sutton,
Oliver Gildart,
Herbie Farnworth is going great guns with Brisbane.
Yeah, Percival and Lomax are big as well for St Helens, aren't they? So yeah, there's loads to come in for England, but they'll just be focused on producing a performance here tonight. Sean Wayne's issue to worry about who else there is to come in. Some real experienced names there, though, Bill.
Little kick from Williams into a bit of space, and across comes Matautia, slithering onto the ball.
Same again from Williams, isn't it? You know, when he's on form, when he's just looking for those opportunities to build some pressure, and a real patient approach there. Kick to the corner, and you look to back that up with some really aggressive defence now.
Here's Reece Martin. And England, as the hooter sounds, will be very satisfied with that first 40 minutes. Ellery Hanley's Combined Nation All-Stars started well. Took a while for England to get into their stride, but when they did, they ran in the tries. Wardle and Williams, the try scorers. Tompkins with 2 goals. There are the 2 try scorers. And England will be happy with that first 40 minutes, I imagine. 12-0 at half-time.